Hello, welcome to Board Games with Niramas. I'm Joseph, or Niramas as I call myself on the internet and so on as well. I'm here with Draco, of course. Draco looks a bit tired. Yeah, we've just been live streaming a giveaway, the After Essen giveaway. We just did that, so it's time to do some monthly update about the channel, about games that were played, games that are coming up on the channel, and so on. So first of all, I do want to mention that I'm so happy for this. This is the first time I'm sitting in my studio doing one of these vlogs in front of the camera. And I just love my studio. I feel so at home in it. It's gotten really cozy. Just yesterday I got some more carpets, some really nice carpets put on the floor here. It's good for the audio, I guess, as well, but it's really nice feeling as well. Makes it a bit cozy in here. And I like having this background, have some stuff up here and so on when I sit in front of the camera. And speaking of this, I got this really cool meeple clock from some commercial coming up. But BGwNiramas met these guys at Esse Spiel. They were kind enough to give me this really cool meeple clock. So I really like that one. Really cool stuff. Also, let's see if I can get, yeah. Also, I am going to mention a few other supporters here for the channel, but we'll get to that later. First of all, I want to talk a bit about what's been filmed since the last time I sat down like this. I think it was a month ago. I'm going to try to keep these monthly, as they were, you know, the idea from the start was to have them monthly. So using my phone here as a little bit of cheating because so much to remember. But yeah, so we did start the top 100 games of all time. I'm happy about that series. I'm so excited to see the reactions and so on as we get closer to the top. We didn't halfway so far. So 5 episodes. It's 10 games in each episode. I talk about the games and why I like them and why I rank them as I do. And the last episode will be some kind of cooperation together with some friends, like I did earlier years as well. But it's like the first year I did this was in 2016, that's just after the channel started. Yeah, it must have been. And then I did like the top 10 games. And then the year after, 2017, we had top 50. But now in 2018, I felt confident enough to do a top 100 games of all time. Just like the big cool YouTubers out there, I want to have my own top 100 list. You should have that, right? Anyhow, we did a run-through of Endavor, Age of Sail, the second edition of Endavor that came from Kickstarter a few months ago. Really cool stuff. I love that game. I just love that game so much. It's so much fun. I love it with all player counts, because if you're playing 4 or 5, well then you have sort of the competition out on the board. But if you're playing 2, which is awesome as well, I played this with Martin, and then you have a dummy player that is not just a dummy player, you actually control it. So if I do an action on my turn, then the dummy player will follow and do the same action, but I get to decide where he does that. Which means I'm going to do it in such a way that it will somehow hinder my opponent, right? So it's a lot of tactic thinking involved there in Endavor Age of Sail, regardless of player count. Can really recommend that game, and go check out the run through if you haven't. Or it's actually a full playthrough with me and Draco. Had so much fun. So go click the link. I always forget where these are. I think it's up there or there. In the corner there's an eye. Click it and, well, keep watching of course, but after you're done you can go there. So then we also did a run through for Rajas of Ganges, which is a cool Eurogame that came out last year, and I really enjoyed this one. It's an interesting twist on a lot of Euro mechanisms. There's worker placement, there's some resource management, but you also have, there's so much going on in this game. You have a river, the Ganges River, that you're trying to sail up on to get bonuses as you go and so on, score points. Well, not points, because there's no points in this game. There's no victory points. There's sort of fame or money. If you get enough fame and money, eventually these 2 meters, they start at next to each other like this. Eventually they are going to go around the board and meet. And when they meet, that's how the game end triggers. And that's also how the winner is determined, whoever gets their markers first to meet or get them to pass each other the most. So you can have a lot of money, or you can have a lot of fame, or you can have a little bit of both. And there's this, I just love that system, and I love the feeling of sort of a race game. instead of just gathering points like you do in most Euros. So check that out as well if you haven't. And all the games I'm talking about here, I'm going to put links down in the description for you to check out as well. So you can go, after you watch this, you can go click them and look at the videos. Then we also did a top 10 list, the top 10 fantasy games. This is something I was looking forward to. I did put out a poll on my, I have this on my Facebook. There's a group, secret group called the BGwNiramas voting panel. And to get access to it, you either had to back my Kickstarter at the beginning of this year, or at the next year. We will do the same thing, of course. Or you can be a patron. If you're a patron supporting the channel every month, every dollar counts. So if you can just support with $1 or $2 or $3, that's great as well. If you do that, you will get access to the Patreon or Kickstarter exclusive voting panel, where you can vote for games, for videos, well, games that I'm going to film, or for like top 10 lists. What top 10 list do you want to see me do, and so on. So anyhow, that was top 10 fantasy. That was really fun to do. Kind of interesting to start thinking in that way, like, what is fantasy? It's not just orcs and trolls. It's just, you know, I have to... Yeah, well, go check it out. I talk a bit about that in that video before I start doing the top list itself. Then I filmed a playthrough with Draco of Welcome 2, which is not a roll and write. It's sort of a roll and write, but instead of rolling a die, you draw cards, and those cards tell you numbers that you can put down in your little suburb. Sort of. So the game is kind of fun in that way as well, because it's called Welcome to ... because then you will fill in the name of your little suburb at the start of the game. So I think Draco lived in, was it Flameville? Something, yeah. And then you put down these numbers together with some effects as well. So, well, as the game keeps going, everybody is going to have a different, just like in any roll and write, you have the same base to choose from, but then you're going to get different results on the map or on your little sheet that you write on. So that's a cool one, Welcome to. Then I did, of course, a bunch of unboxings this last month, because we were at Esse Spiel. I should talk a bit about that as well. It feels like I talked so much about Esse Spiel, but it was just such an amazing time. We had so much fun. Draco got to meet his idols, you know, Rodney Smith and Tom Vassell and C. Garcia and a lot of other people. It's just so much fun. New connections were made with people, I mean, in media and in the board gaming industry. Met so many nice people. Everybody was just so happy and nice being there, even though everybody was tired at the same time, because there's so much people there. It's like, I think 200,000 visitors during these 4 days. And yeah, I can't wait to go back next year, but at the same time I was so exhausted after that. Next year I will have learned some stuff though. I have typed down some tips for myself, things to think about next year. And if you want to check out some of those tips, in a few weeks there will be a sort of, to end the Essen coverage, we will do a post-Essen vlog. Me and Martin together will sit down and talk about Essen and give you some tips if you're going there next year and so on, or in the future. That might be good to check out as well. And then we had, well, of course, Terraforming Mars Colonies solo playthroughs are up and running. I've done 2 so far. There's 3 more to go. I just love that game, and now with Colonies, it's just so amazing. Terraforming Mars is, yeah, I don't even know what to say about that game anymore because I love it so much. Then I did a playthrough live of Discover Lands Unknown. It was pretty fun. The game has some weird... There's some weird decisions involved in making that game. I can't really understand how they... I mean, every game is unique, every box is unique, which is cool. But at the same time, it's not a cheap game. It's like, I think, like a $70 game. You're not going to go and buy 3 of them just to try different scenarios, I guess. Well, most people aren't. And yeah, I enjoyed it in some ways. The main problem with it is the replayability, I think, because... especially if you're playing solo. I guess if you're playing more people, then a lot of variation are going to happen because of the choices people make. But if you play with more people, it's so weird as well, because you don't know if it's co-op or not. Like, some scenarios are co-op, and if you beat the boss or whatever, then everybody wins. But in some scenarios, like the one I was playing on camera, if we would I was playing it solo, but if I would have played it with friends, then we wouldn't have won together. And you can help each other fight, but why would you help each other fight monsters if only one people gets to win? It's just such a weird game in some ways, but at the core it's a fun thing. I like survival games and all that, so check that out if you haven't. Discover Lands Unknown. Then we also did the run-through for Planet. It was the first run-through of the Essen games, basically. Well, Discover Lands Unknown was released at Essen. I got my copy from Alara Games because it was such a long line to get it down there. But Planet is really nice. Planet is a nice game. It's a tile placement game, but in 3D. So you have your little 3D planet with magnets on it, and you put magnetic tiles on them to form landscapes to make these animals want to sort of evolve on your planet, and you get points that way. Really cool game. I can recommend Planet. Okay, so that's sort of the things that we did film since last time. I probably forgot something. You can check out the channel, you know, the video. Check out, see if there's other cool stuff there. So let's talk a bit about what I have been playing that was new for me and what did I think about those games in a short review, basically. So, well, first of all, I did play Terraforming Mars Colonies, the new expansion for Terraforming Mars. That's just amazing. I think I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'm going to do a video soon where I talk about all the expansions for Terraforming Mars, all the 4, and sort of rank them and talk a bit about what I think is essential and so on. So we're going to dive deeper into the Terraforming Mars expansion land in just a few weeks here, before Christmas at least. Then I played Railroad Inc. Railroad Inc. is a roll and write, really fun. You have these dry erasers, you write down or draw your roads and your railroads, you're trying to connect them to score points. And it's very solitaire. Everybody plays on their own little board basically, but I really enjoy it. And I'm so happy for that because Martin met the art designer for the game, for Simon. Actually, I'm gonna show you that right away. So by the magic power of editing, I got them here now. And they come in these boxes. There's 2 versions, so there's the blue and the red. And they are different. In the base game it's the same thing, and if you have both of them you can play up to 12 players. It's 1 to 6 normally. I'm going to do a run through for these soon as well, or like a solo playthrough or together with Draco somehow. Anyhow, the different editions, they add like extra dice that changes the games up a bit. Haven't played the blue one yet, but in this one there's like 2 red dice that are like a meteor that hits your board as you draw on this board, and then it will ruin your road and so on. It's really fun stuff. But what I wanted to show you really now is just this. This is nice as well, that it's like a magnetic lock. I wanted to show you this because Martin met the art designer Marta, and she have a little Draco there. Really nice stuff. And on the other one she just put down a little train and typed a little nice message to me as well, because I never got the chance to meet her there at Essen. So that was just so nice of her, and yeah, I was so happy for that. And yeah, run through coming soon for Railroad Inc. Then let's talk about, well, I already talked about Planet. I played a game called The Estates. We played it in the evening and we were really tired, or I mean, at the evenings there, next year I'm not going to play that many games in the evening because my brain is so burnt out. So this was not a good game for me to play in the evenings because there's a lot of thinking and it's some abstract stuff, like you have to plan, like, well, if someone does this, then I can do that, and then that will lead to this. And my mind was not set for that kind of game that evening. But so I'm not going to give it any judgment on it because I can't really do that after playing it once in that setting. But it was some interesting mechanics in it, and it was, yeah, it looked really nice and really easy, just put on the table and start playing. And then there's a real depth to it. In the estate you're trying to build like skyscrapers and put roofs on them and so on, and to score points. But there's a lot to consider in there. Okay, then I played Star Wars Destiny, which is something I've been wanting to play for a long time. I think it's a few years old, but I really enjoyed it. It's like a 1v1. I think you can be more people, but I think it's mostly a 1v1. You have cards that you play and you have dice that you roll, and it's basically you put out cards or like characters and then you activate them and they can hit each other and you're trying to kill the other characters. So one is the Empire, one is the Rebels and all that. Really cool stuff. I love the artwork. It's the exactly the same artwork actually as in Star Wars Imperial Assault. It's from Fantasy Flight, so they just copied some of it, but which is totally fine with me because that's awesome. Then I played Coimbra. Coimbra is a really nice game, and it was my #1. If you remember, I had it as my #1 anticipated game from Esse Spiel on my list that I did before Essen, and now I play. I didn't pick it up myself actually because once again the lines were really long and I was so tired and all that, and I didn't get a chance to pick it up. But I have friends that picked it up and played it. I think I played it in a 2-player mode. I think it would be interesting to play it as 4 players as well, but the game itself is sort of a once again classic Euro, but with like new ways to use these mechanisms. You have dice drafting, and whatever dice you draft will affect sort of which cards you can get, and the cards you can get will affect some meters that you're trying to climb, and those meters will affect, depending on what color of the dice you drafted earlier, you will get an income of something. There's different sort of like points and money and soldiers and so on. Wow, really cool game, really cool game. I really like Coimbra. It's not going to be, I think, it's not gonna like make it into my top 10 or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was sort of like I expected it to be. I was so excited for it, and then it was really good. So yeah, that's great. Speaking of that, I also played 2 other games that I was really expecting to be great, and they were, and that is Teotihuacan. Another big hit from Esse Spiel. I really liked that one, and I want to play it more. I only played it once, and it was like a learning game, and it's quite a complicated game. So I'm really excited to play it again, and really now that I can have some sort of strategy from the start, right? Then I also played Gugong, which is a game that I didn't miss it, but I sort of haven't. I missed the Kickstarter. Otherwise I would have backed it, because they had a Kickstarter where you could do the deluxe version, and that's just so amazing. You get, let's say, really nice insert. You get cool like all the components are like wooden and cool and stuff. Really cool stuff with Gugong, and Gugong has sort of a worker placement thingy going, but you have cards on your hand that's your actions, and you trade them with cards on the board, which is like trading gifts, and that determines which actions you can do. And yeah, there's so much cool stuff going on in that. I really hope that I don't have it, but I hope that I can borrow it in the future here and make a round through, because I really want to show you Gugong. I think that's the one that really, after Essen, that's the one that I love the most so far. And then I played Nemeton, which is also Essen release. Sort of tile laying and some abstract thinking. It reminded me a bit of like photosynthesis combined with Takenoko, because you're putting out these moon tiles that will shine on certain parts of the board that will make plants grow, and then you can move your little guy, your little druid, to go pick them up, and then you can brew potions with them, which sort of reminded me of Splendor, because you have like some potions out there that you can get, you can reserve them and all that. So it's really interesting mix of different mechanics in that game. I want to play it more. I think Nemeton really looks awesome, and yeah, it was fun, and I want to play it more now that I sort of know it. All of these games are like first impressions, basically what I'm saying. I only played them like once. I played Gugong twice, but anyhow. Okay, then I played Gizmos, which is was not from Essen, but anyhow, I bought it at Alara Games, Trollhättan. But Gizmos, so cool game, so much fun. It's like you have these little marbles that you use as energy to build your gizmo, your little machine. And as you keep building it, you get more and more chain reactions going. So it's like really like an engine builder. So at the end of the game, you're like doing one thing, which leads to another, which leads to a third, and so on and so on. I love that stuff in games, and this game is just all about that. So that's a really fun game, really quick and fun to play. And then I played Reykholt, which is Uwe Rosenberg's new game that was released at Essen. This is a racing game, kind of short game to be. I mean, you shouldn't, because when I say Uwe Rosenberg, a lot of people will, especially myself included, before I played it, you think about like Caverna and Agricola and Le Havre and these sort of heavier style games, but Raycalls is really, it's really simple. We're sort of gathering vegetables to do a feast, and as you do that, you're racing to get around the tables and feed them with different vegetables. Really cool stuff. That's one that I want to do a run for in the future as well, Raycalls. So I think that was the games that I've been playing last month. Well, the new games I've been playing, and then speaking a bit about the future here in December. The next part, just like, what is it, like 10 days left of November, and then we have December. I will just keep going. There's unboxings, there's run-throughs, there's playthroughs. I'm gonna do live shows, live streams with all the games that sort of fit for that format. And yeah, just keep following the channel. There'll be a lot of videos coming up. I'll keep having a high tempo going, because I do have a few weeks off now that I can spend most of my days just filming, which is awesome. Playing games and filming, that's like dream, right? And then I want to make a few shout outs. So first of all, this t-shirt that I'm wearing, really nice Moral t-shirt. This comes from lootland.se. Check them out, the link there. You can buy these and a lot of other t-shirts as well. I have some others that I used earlier in videos that were from Lootland as well. But I'm so happy for them supporting me. Thank you so much, guys, at Lootland. Alright, and another shout out that I want to make is for OptiPrint. I'll put the link down here as well. This is a really friendly guy called Jonas. He's making 3D stuff for sort of board games and role-playing games and all that stuff. So I got this from him, which is a little dice tower with a dragon that's sort of pooping out dice here. I think it looks really nice, and you can buy those at his web shop as well, with the address here. And with this address and the code Niramas, you will get 10% discount. So go check that out, go buy stuff from him, support him. And also I want to mention he did give me this lamp as well, which is cool. This is like a dice, I don't know what the word is in English, like the stuff that you put on a lamp shed, I don't know. And you can't really see it that well on this, but there's like numbers here. So it's like what is it, a D20. And basically he have these in different colors. When you turn it on like that, then you definitely can't see the numbers, right? So I wish the numbers, you could paint these, I guess, in a different color, because then it would show up better. So, but he does all of these cool stuff, and he's going to have new stuff coming as well, and we're sort of cooperating now. So I'm going to give him some tips on what kinds of game-related, board game-related stuff he could print and sell on his web shop. Yeah, so I'm happy to support him. I like that, you know, just like me, you know, I have a small sort of company basically here in Sweden, and I love it when people are like really passionate about their thing they're doing. I mean, I love board games, so I'm talking about board games all the time and filming and all that. But this guy, he likes 3D printing, so yeah, that's so much fun. So that is it, I think, for this video. It's running a bit long, of course, but there's just so much to talk about. And I'm so happy for all of you watching. I'm so happy for all of the support for the channel, the comments, the likes, the shares of videos, sharing with your friends and so on. We're over 2,500 subscribers right now, which is just awesome. And it's going really fast, so we might hit 3,000 pretty soon as well, I think. If things start, you know, keep going like they are now, I hope they are. I'm so happy for everything right now. I'm just I'm just so excited for the channel and for you guys watching, and for this community sort of that we are building together, and sharing this love that we all have for board gaming and card gaming and all that. And Draco's happy as well, I think. But he looks a bit tired, so I think we're gonna cut it here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in this format in a month or so, but before that there's gonna be a bunch of other videos, of course, and live streams and all that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye-bye.
Do you want to keep this little dragon this happy all day long? Then subscribe to the channel. Board Games with Niramas is sponsored by Alara Games in Sweden.